Hi, this is Alonzo Bodden. I want to welcome you to episode 351 of my podcast, Who's Paying Attention? This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. They offer video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. See why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp. That's BetterHelp.com. And my listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Alonzo. Once again, BetterHelp.com/Alonzo, 10% off your first month. So, has anything happened in comedy this week? Well, let's see. I almost want to talk about the stories I can't cover this week, like Duke and North Carolina meeting in the Final Four, which is just absolutely historic, a one of the biggest rivalries in sports, and they've never met in the Final Four before. Can't talk about that. Chris Wallace is leaving Fox News and, excuse me, and talked about how Fox News is propaganda. Can't talk about that. Now, Apple says it will no longer fix iPhones that have been reported as stolen. Yeah, I'm surprised they were fixing iPhones that were reported as stolen, but they said they're not going to do it anymore. Can't talk about that. No. We got to talk. I have to talk about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock on the Oscar stage. I will tell you right now, I don't even watch the Oscars. I don't watch award shows. I'm not into actors sitting around telling each other how great they are. So I don't watch. So I was working on something else, and next thing you know, my phone was blowing up, and someone sent me a video of Will walking on stage, slapping Chris Rock for Chris Rock making a joke about Jada Pinkett and G.I. Jane. Okay, then, well, you've heard everything since then. I will say the best commentary I've read has been Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'll talk more about that later. It was very well thought out, and he made a lot of really good points. People asked for my take. Initially, I didn't have anything to say because it took a minute to process. And then, and I posted this on Facebook, one of the things with celebrities is I never know the backstory with celebrities. I believe A-listers, a lot of them know each other, particularly black celebrities. They kind of roll in the same circles. And I said, I don't know if there was some history that Will Smith had a problem with Chris Rock or something like that. In the aftermath, I will say a few days later, I don't think that's it at all. I haven't heard anything. Yeah, Chris Rock made fun of Jada Pinkett when he hosted the Oscars back in 2016. I don't think Will's been holding on to that long. Now, I will say this. My friend Eric Griffin, who's a brilliant comic and a very smart guy, posted and said that the Oscars needs to stop inviting comedians. And I agree with Eric on that. Just stop bringing in comics. You know why? Because actors take themselves seriously. That is one of the problems. Actors take themselves seriously, and comics don't. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We don't take other people too seriously. So we make jokes. This joke that Chris Rock told, again, this is obviously just my opinion, no inside info, and I haven't read every story, nor would I believe every story. So that's where I'm coming from on this. But this joke to me was kind of a throwaway joke. Now, I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute, but I don't think Chris Rock knew that Jada Pinkett had alopecia, whatever the medical condition is, causing her hair loss. The reason I say that is Chris Rock doesn't take cheap shots. Chris Rock's a pro, and he showed what a pro he is that night, because after getting slapped, he did what a comic would do. He tried to diffuse the energy. He told a joke, and then he tried to joke it off in another direction. It didn't work, but he tried, and that is the comic instinct. So, I mean, I got mad respect, kudos all the respect in the world for Chris Rock and what he did and how he handled this. I think he did a great job. Anyway, when I say it's a throwaway joke, there's sometimes you just see a quick moment and it's funny. Now, if you put it in the voice of Don Rickles, okay, imagine Rickles up there just cracking jokes on people. He looks up, he sees a woman with a shaved head. He's like, G.I. Jane too. Anyway, you know, that it's that kind of joke. It's just a quick moment. People are analyzing the backstory. I don't think there's that much backstory in it. I think that is a quick joke. To see an actress with a shaved head and make a joke about G.I. Jane 2 is quick and easy. Now, again, I don't think he knew about the medical condition. I don't know. The medical condition makes it a bad joke. Yes, we as comics don't pick on people who have medical conditions, okay? We may joke about the injury or the illness or something like that. Listen, I've done cancer benefits where we joke about cancer, and the patients and people being treated for cancer love it because people stay away from it and they laugh about it themselves. It's called gallows humor. But that's not what this was. So anyway, all that being said, I don't think Chris put that much into the joke and that it was aimed at Jada and all of that. Now, Will's reaction, again, initially I thought maybe there's backstory, this or that. Now I don't think so. I think Will, for whatever snapped in his head, whether it was anger, whether it was a calculated thing to, you know, him and Jada going through that marriage stuff and he wanted to play a hero, or I don't know what it was, but he was wrong. And I've said this, and it's true, the average Chuckle Hut has better security than the Oscars, because when you're at the Improv or the Funny Bone or Helium or any comedy club, you don't walk up on the stage. They don't allow it. They have, any decent comedy club has security that's going to stop you long before you get to the stage. So anyway, he goes up there. He slaps the hell out of Chris. Chris is stunned, but tries to do a recovery. The entire show changed. One show ended, another show began in that moment. And then, in, I don't know, the ultimate irony, Will wins his first Oscar for Best Actor, which is crazy. Kudos to Questlove and the people who made the Soul documentary that won. That was the award that Chris was presenting that obviously was overshadowed. But getting back to this now, I was wrong in a lot of my analysis. I said that people aren't going to use this as an excuse to start attacking stages carte blanche and ruining comedy shows or doing whatever. And yeah, people are doing it. Chris Rock went back on stage Tuesday. He had shows in Boston. He talked about he hasn't had a chance to process this. And by the way, Chris is going to tear this apart, okay? When Chris gets the, you know, when he writes his material, when he gives his side of this story, it's going to be hilarious. It's going to be smart, and Will's really not going to like that. That's my suspicion on what's going to happen there. But some guy at Chris's show Wednesday night kept yelling out, Will Smith, Will Smith, Will Smith. And then they had to drag the guy out, and then he got into it with the cops. He got maced, he got arrested, and it's a fucking mess. And maybe this is what comedy is going to become. I have a show tonight, and I was just texting with my buddy George Wallace, the brilliant Mr. Wallace. Dr. Wallace is actually what we call him. Is saying that this, you know, it's been a long time since I'm not sure what I'm going to say on stage. I don't know. This is such a weird thing. I don't like that Will Smith has ruined I shouldn't say ruined, has affected my job. I don't like that Will Smith has affected my job. But he has. It'll be all right. Now, when I said I was wrong on that analysis. I think I was wrong on the background check. If you hear noise in the background, this is just a side note. I'm at this hotel in Providence. It's called the Graduate Hotel. If you ever have to come to Providence, Rhode Island, do not stay at the Graduate Hotel. I've never encountered this before. Their heater, when I checked in, they said, you can't turn the heater off, but you can turn the fan off. Well, you can't turn the fan off. The fan stays on. They said, but you can open the windows, which in most hotels you can't open the windows. Here you can open the windows. And when you do open the window, you get the wind tunnel effect with the door, which gives you a loud background hum. So if you hear a noise in the back, it's the fan that cannot be turned off. Okay, back to the podcast and the point I was making. So George said that Chris should sue Will Smith for $200 million because this is going to stay with Chris and it's going to be a stain on Chris's career forever. Jim Carrey also said that Chris Rock should sue because he said this video isn't going to go away and it's going to, we live in this age, right? Viral video. It's going to be on and on. He's going to be asked about it all the time and so on. I don't know. I don't know if he should sue or not. But Jim Carrey said one thing that annoyed me, and herein lies the problem. He said that Will Smith ruined the Oscars for all the other nominees and winners, etc. And he said they've worked very hard. He said it's a lot of work between getting nominated for an Oscar and getting to the Oscars. Jim, it's not hard work. It's Hollywood work. The Oscars gift bag is worth more than half of America makes in a year. That's just their gift bag for the night. It is not. This is a problem with actors. Listen, acting is hard work, okay, and it takes a talent. And I know because I've studied enough acting classes and I've done little bit parts here and there, and I've seen great actors work. It is a talent to be able to create an emotion, to create a character, and to do it over and over again. As they say, take 1, take 2, take 5, take 10. It's a lot of work. I respect that. But you know what's harder? The person who actually did what the actor's portraying. Okay? Richard Williams, Venus and Serena's dad, much harder work than Will Smith playing him. Okay, that's where actors, I think they get confused somehow. Maybe they get so deep in character like Daniel Day-Lewis that they become that person. Guaranteed, and Daniel Day-Lewis was phenomenal, unbelievable actor when he takes on a role. He did Lincoln, it was amazing. I guarantee Abraham Lincoln's job was harder than playing Abraham Lincoln. This is why I agree with what Eric said, that maybe comics shouldn't be there. Because we love what we do, but we laugh about what we do. Listen, you've heard me say this a million times. At the end of the day, my job beats honest work. And I know because I've done honest work. If you hitting that clock and going to the plant every day, that's work. Okay, that's work. And if I sit up here and tell you how hard it is to stay in a hotel room, I wouldn't need shut up. You just tell me to shut my ass up. So there is a difference. There is a separation. I respect the work that actors do, but stop saying it's hard work to people who do hard work. Okay, you're taking yourself too seriously. Kareem. Let's talk about what Kareem said because, Tiffany Haddish had a statement. Tiffany Haddish said that she thought what Will Smith did was beautiful and that she would love to have a man stand up for her in that way. I get that. There's a lot of women who probably feel that way. But Kareem talked about, first of all, violence is wrong. Just the idea of responding to words with violence is wrong. And he talked about how what he did, what Will Smith did, diminishes Jada Pinkett in the sense that she's an accomplished woman and she's a celebrity in her own right and she's an actress and she can handle words. In her career, she's had to deal with comedians making fun of her and bad reviews and whatever else. She can handle words. So what Kareem was saying, if he had physically attacked Jada Pinkett Smith, or if a man physically attacks a woman, then a man getting involved, absolutely. But he said that she didn't need protection from words, and that it makes her the damsel in distress. Okay. And then he talked about Will Smith's speech in winning his Oscar, where Will Smith talked about the women he protected and the women that the protection Richard Williams had to provide for his daughters and the protection that Will Smith has had to do as a dad and blah, blah, blah. And Kareem said, you know what? If you protect women, you don't brag about it. You don't brag about it. You just do it. Okay? And you certainly don't have to brag about it on the Oscar stage. And then he talked about the violence, gives back that toxic, he calls it the toxic bro ideal, of might makes right, and that talking is for losers, and Chris Rock's a punk because he didn't fight back. And then he talked about another thing, and this is, listen, it always comes up, okay? The black community takes a hit because the racist white community says that this is how black people act. We joked about it. I joked about it. I said, man, black on black crime, we're going to go back to the Oscars so white, he's right, though. He's right. Trust me. Fox News love this, because they can have their roundtable talk about, and use all their dog whistles about how violent and dangerous black men are and all of this crap. So you look up Kareem's article. It's called Will Smith Did a Bad, Bad Thing. That's the title of the article. And, he did talk about how great that Chris Rock handled it. And he said he doesn't want to see Will Smith ostracized, but he wants it to be a cautionary tale for others, which is great. Listen, I think Kareem got it right. Now, another thing that I'm getting because of my physical size is, ain't nobody going to rush the stage with you on it. Listen, that has dogged me throughout my career. I am not a violent guy. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Big guys aren't violent. We don't live in a time of Vikings where I'm going to beat you or kill you just because I'm bigger than you. I've heard, they have to laugh because you can beat them up. I'm not beating up the audience for not laughing at a joke. It completely discounts any writing I do, any creative stuff I do. If the only credit is for size, that's like telling a woman comic, and believe me, women comics I know have heard this. It's like, well, just show them your boobs. Just show your boobs. You ain't got to worry about jokes or anything. And it discounts what we do. Now, as far as fighting on stage, let me tell you something. I'm not going to give his name, but I know a comic, probably weighs about 150 pounds. He's an ex-boxer. He trains all the time. If you were to rush up on him on stage, he's going to slip any punch you throw and floor you with a combination. Because he knows how to fight. It's not about that. You shouldn't have to know how to fight to be a comic. You shouldn't have to have security stand next to you to do comedy, and we shouldn't be limited in what we say because someone in the audience might be triggered. Now, is Will going through something? I have no idea. I have no idea if Will is going through something or not, but it's not an excuse for this behavior. It's almost as if on cue. As I said, this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Will Smith, just saying, BetterHelp Online Therapy. This month, BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to take care of your most important relationship, your relationship with yourself. That's right, take care of yourself. We talk about self-care. Do that. Might be going to the gym or getting a new haircut, whatever. Invest time and effort into taking care of yourself. I do this. You guys, it's no secret. I just celebrated 34 years of recovery. Okay, I've been sober a little over 34 years now. I believe in 12-step meetings. That's part of my life. I try to take care of myself physically. I'm trying to get back on that horse and work out regularly again and try to eat a little better. And I'm an advocate of therapy because there are times when we go through things that we don't know how to go through. We haven't had this emotion before. We haven't had this situation which raised this emotion before, and we need to talk to somebody who can help us through that, okay? I've often said one of the big helps in life is finding out you're not the only one. And the only way you find that out is to talk to people. So I am definitely an advocate of therapy, of mental health, of self-care. Now, BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. Okay, much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. As I said, over 2 million people have used BetterHelp online therapy. And here's the bonus. Listeners to my show, you who's paying attention, people, pay attention. 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Alonzo. That's BETTERHELP.com/Alonzo. Should Will Smith try betterhelp.com? Couldn't hurt. So, yeah, that's it. So going forward, listen, you guys who listen, I appreciate you. And there's other, I have a few other outlets going through the Young Turks. I'm doing some videos, little 5-minute video clips on various news stories. Just started this week, okay? So you can check that out. Go to tyt.com and you can find me over there talking a little bit about news and other things. And I didn't talk about this story there because I think we've talked about this story enough. I thought this would go away. This ain't going away. This whole Will Smith thing, and it definitely takes away. It definitely takes away from Chris Rock and his comedy. He went on stage in Boston. He said that I had a whole show written before, but nobody's listening to that. So, getting back to my videos, you can go to Rebel HQ. The videos are on YouTube. You can go to my website, anywhere. You can find I'm doing these videos, and it's really fun. It's another outlet for what I talk about and looking at the news. This week, we talked about Tucker Carlson and his nonsense and, stories I can't tell on this podcast. This is the Will Smith, Chris Rock podcast. No, let me correct that. This is the Chris Rock, Will Smith podcast. Again, I think Chris has done a great job. Side benefit, again, how celebrity works. His ticket, he's on a tour now. The ticket seller said that ticket sales went up 25 times after the Oscars. So maybe I need Will Smith to slap the shit out of me on stage, Again, it ain't about the money, but there's always money involved. I don't know what's going on with comedy. This is going to be an annoyance for a while because we all have to address it. Every comic has to address it, on stage, off stage, or whatever. I still believe that funny will always win out. I still believe that if you are funny on stage, you can say whatever you want to say. And I will tell you now, comics do not, as Dave Chappelle talked about. And by the way, who's happier than Dave Chappelle that this did not involve him? And it's also very interesting that the A-list comics can't really comment. They can't pick a side. If you're Kevin Hart, you can't pick a side in this. If you're Jamie Foxx, you can't pick a side in this. Even Wanda was just upset that Chris Rock apologized because she said he didn't owe an apology, but he apologized to the Oscars and to Wanda and Amy Schumer and Regina Hall, the hosts, for that this took away attention from the job they did. But anyway, it's going to be something we comics have to deal with. I will tell you, it's something we don't want to deal with. We do not punch down on stage. We do not look for somebody with a medical condition or some kind of weakness. We do laugh with the weak at society. We laugh with, listen, I've had shows where somebody in a wheelchair was sitting there, and I joked about them not being able to come up the stairs, and they laughed their ass off because for a moment they were part of the show. They were just another member of the audience laughing at. We comics feel that. We know who wants to joke, who doesn't. And we come in with an act. We don't come in looking to just pick on the audience. It's another misconception. Oh, I helped you. You never help a comic by yelling at that comic and trying to make it about you. That never helps. So do me a favor. If support live comedy, I know we always say this, but yeah, go to a comedy show, kick back and laugh, have a good time. Let us do what we do and you do what you do. And if you don't agree with the comic, you don't like the comic, just leave or find another comic, or maybe take a look at yourself and say, wow, is it really that serious? It probably isn't. Thank you for listening. I wish the best to Chris Rock in the aftermath of this. Isn't that crazy? Me wishing the best to Chris Rock like he needs my help. This is Who's Paying Attention. I'm Alonzo Bodden. Again, thank you for listening, and we'll talk next week. I'll be back with a guest, Brian Babylon, comic, radio host, brilliantly funny guy. That's next week's episode. Thank you.